Hello, everyone. This is Chet back again from Fight Breakdown. We're going to be looking at another jiu-jitsu match between Fernando Terere against Marcelo Garcia. This is from the 2003 Worlds, and both fighters are in the absolute prime. I always found Terere's style very interesting, dynamic, and he's a guy that kind of flies a little bit under the radar in a lot of all-time great jiu-jitsu discussions because he was kind of like he burned like really bright like a meteor flying through the sky from like the late 90s to about 2004, and then he kind of like disappeared, and then he came back like years later, but his prime years are like the late 90s into the early 2000s. And just to show how great he was, he defeated Marcelo Garcia uh, on four separate occasions. So if you know how great Marcelo Garcia is, many consider him to be the GOAT, right? They talk about Gordon Ryan right now, but usually that's the discussion. It's either Gordon Ryan or Marcelo. So just the fact that Tete beat him on four different separate occasions says a lot about Tete. Um, his style is very dynamic. So his style of passing, it was more of like speed and athletic based. And we're gonna get right into this match and make a few light commentaries here and there, and let's have some fun. So we can see right at the beginning, trying to engage, and Marcelo's gonna try to pull guard, and you can see this quick athletic move to jump right past the guard by Teddy. Now I'm just gonna slow it down a little bit because I mean that was like super quick. But he basically just like hops over the guard in the beginning, and then a large portion of the match is Marcelo pulling X guard. Right, he recovers and then he tries to pull into X guard and then work his sweeps off of there. So it's interesting to see how Teddy. So you can see Marcelo tries to get underneath. Teddy anticipates, and then the struggle continues. All right, so I'll pause it right there. So again, at full speed, we're gonna see the quick passing of the guard to this north-south position, and you can see the scrambly nature of Teddy. So now Marcelo's recovered. He has like this half guard, and then he is gonna work to get his X guard, his famous X guard, into place. He was really one of the pioneers of this guard, Marcelo Garcia. From the bottom, you can see his left leg posted on the hip of Teddy, and a lot of the large portion of the match is gonna rely, and revolve around this struggle with this X guard. So I'm gonna pause it there, and we're gonna move a little forward, right? So that's like a major portion. You can see Teddy, deciding on what he's gonna do here. See Marcelo trying to sweep, right, from X guard, and then of course the ref comes in with his jeans on and resets the players. So after the reset here, you can see Teddy stands up. He pressures downward, so in order to keep from being swept, X guard. And he just shows great balance and dynamism here. So now we're gonna move a little bit forward. I want to pick it up at this point because here is we'll see the beginning of Marcelo's X guard starting to deteriorate somewhat. Teddy has some tight grips on Marcelo's right side, which of course keep him from getting swept, and he works the escape also to free his legs. And you can see right here, Marcelo now has his butterfly hook, and he's trying to hold on, but Terere does a good job in this top game as he cradles the leg here. And what's interesting too is if you noticed just now, Terere's left foot, he's pummeling Marcelo's leg, and it reminds me of some of the techniques that Danaher and Gordon Ryan teach when they're talking about uh, passing the guard. You can see right there, that's what I'm talking about. Terere's left foot is going to windshield wiper that the top leg of Marcelo's off. All right, so that he can facilitate passing the guard. At this point, Terere has Marcelo Garcia's left leg uh, trapped with his arm. So he has him in like a wrestling cradle. So that left leg, the bottom leg, if you will, of Marcelo's, uh, is basically useless here, and the top leg is the only thing really keeping Terere at this point from passing the guard. So he's going to use his own left foot to windshield wiper that foot off. So we let it go in slow motion, and that's the struggle. So he's trying, moves around a little bit, and you can see Terere's arm holding Marcelo Garcia's foot up in the air. So he's in a bad position. He really doesn't have too much left of a guard, if you want to call it that. So he's kind of in a precarious position that he needs to try to get out of and establish guard. It was very hard. He's putting a lot of pressure down. You can see Terere's weight is all on Garcia, and now he tries what we can say is maybe like a modified leg movement that you do in the X pass, but Marcelo does a good job in keeping that hook in. They still have it on slow motion here. And again, the level of control that Terere has over Marcelo is amazing, and you can see right there, that's what I was waiting for, the beautiful passing of the guard into side control. So just one more time. Thank you for your patience. But this is beautiful jiu-jitsu here. So he's complete control, and now you can see the cradle I was talking about. So complete control over Marcelo, right? He holds him there. He's not in a rush. Right, he gets this cradle position and he holds to the right time, and boom, he passes the guard. And of course, the struggle is coming. The bridge. Notice the tight control of Terere here, and we'll pause it right there and we'll go a little forward. But that's one thing that we can take to heart, is that when you first establish, say, side control or mount, right, the instinct of the person on bottom is to frantically buck and try to get out of the position, right? So don't try to go for a submission or even try to do anything else right away. Try to just establish and settle that opponent in that position, right? Eventually, they will accept that, okay, they can't get out through brute strength and just force, and they will calm down. But you have to make sure that you hold your ground first, because those first initial seconds are important. Again, here it is at normal speed. Whoops. And notice the cradle right there that Terere establishes. So now he grips Marcelo's left arm, and so it's really hard to free for Marcelo to free his bottom leg. And all he's left with now is that butterfly hook. And now, of course, Terere's going to sprawl, put all his weight down, and now you can see the techniques we just discussed. I'm trying to windshield wiper that that hook out. He just holds Marcelo there. It's probably very uncomfortable. Tries to get out. And And then he passes the guard. Marcelo bucks, tries to get out, and eventually he has to settle into this position. Again, this is 2003 World Finals. So in the gi. So remember ADCC 2003. That's when Marcelo established his legendary status. So he is like right at the peak of his powers here, and we can see a nice tight side control from Terere here. So we're gonna go a little bit further. You can see him trying to set up this mount there. He's holding the right leg of Marcelo. Pause it there and go a little forward. Okay, so now after some struggle in the mount, I'm sorry, not in the mount, but from side control, we're going to pick it up at an important transition in the match here. So we can see Marcelo is going to try to buck out again from side control, and watch the beautiful transition here by Terere, and it turns into a back take. And as Marcelo attempts to turn, it turns into a sort of like a three-quarter mount. It's a back take, and of course, still moving. And then we can see Marcelo ends up in this historic triangle from Terere. Man, that was awesome. We got to look at that again. That was just just the way the transitions were crazy. Right? So we can see, we go back again. Sorry about that. So again, you can see first Terere was trying to establish knee on belly. I want to bring that in slow motion. So first he's trying to establish this knee on belly right here. He's trying to just get to the mount. There it is. You see the knee on belly, and right away, Marcelo bucks out. Right? He's like, I gotta get out. This is my chance. So he's trying to get out, but Terere is able to reestablish his side control. Again, time is ticking. There's another attempt for Marcelo to get out, and what happens is he winds up giving up his back here. And you can see the hooks aren't in, but this is a position still allows Terere to get on top here. Right, nothing is established at this point. So the struggle, and you can see at this point the legs get wrapped around, and this is the beginning of the triangle already. And you can see beautiful technique by Terere here. Let me just slow this down right here because it's really hard to see. But you can see Marcelo tapping in midair as the triangle is rolling. So that triangle was slapped on like so tight that he tapped like while they were actually rolling here. So here the triangle must be on pretty tight already. You're going back, and you can see the wherewithal. There it is. Now he establishes the triangle. Sorry about that. And you can see already. And there, you would think he might be able to get out, but he has the head down, and just like in midair, he taps him. Fantastic victory. Fantastic victory for Terere. Much respect on that. You could never take that away from him. And again, like I said earlier in the video, he defeated Marcelo, I think, 3 other times. He either beat him 3 times or 4 times. Definitely 3, but I believe it was 4 times. Marcelo never defeated him in competition. And I think it's interesting because Marcelo defeated a lot of guys that were bigger than him and slower. But I think he definitely had a problem with Terere's speed and athleticism. The speed was definitely a problem. The scrambling nature, and also Terere was very strong. All right. So I think, and you can see he's just like super super hyped because back in those days, Brazil. I mean, Brazil was like like the NFL here in America, right? But beautiful, beautiful victory by Terere. Okay, here is a video from BJJ Library just of Terere demonstrating the way he submitted Marcelo. His technique. So you can see this grip here. He has first of all on the sleeve, right? So it inhibits the defense here. So just let it go through in slow motion. So there's the grip on the leg. As soon as he gets that leg around, he lets go of the sleeve. And there it is, and he just locks the triangle. And he did this very fast against Marcelo. And of course, he pulls the head. And there's different ways of finishing the triangle, of course, but you know that, um, you know that initial technique of how he controlled the sleeve, right, to inhibit the defender, and how he also has his hand on the right defender's right leg is very important. And show it one more time, right, forcing him to roll over and keeping that armor out of the way allows the leg to slide through uninhibited. Then the roll through. And notice also how Terere is holding the head down the whole time. And there's the lock. So fantastic, fantastic. And to hit that live, right? To hit that, all in motion, and in the frantic pace of the match, and with all those stakes, to become the world champion on the line against a fellow legend, right? That's what makes you a legend, right? Because giants, it's like two top generals meeting, and it's kind of like that's something you can never take away. It's like when guys are in their prime and they fight, those are the fights that I count when I determine like who's the best, right? I hate, like, especially in MMA, because I know they're trying to make money and stuff. They'll have a guy like an older fighter like Anderson Silva or somebody like that, 40 something years old, and he's fighting, they'll compare him to say like Adesanya or somebody like that, and it's kind of like, of course, the younger guy is going to be better than him now. If he beats him now, it's not a big deal to me. You're beating the guy who's like a shell of himself. You know, I look at the prime years of the fighter. So it's like, for instance, if Marcelo Garcia came out of retirement and he faced, like, I don't know, somebody from the Danaher Death Squad and lost, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, he beat Marcelo Garcia. No, it's like Marcelo Garcia is 20 years past his prime. You know, I count the years of importance when a player is in his prime. And what I like is that both of these men were young men. I think Garcia was like 20, 21 at the time, and Terere was also in his 20s. And they came together and had a fantastic match on several occasions. So I suggest anyone look up those matches and just check them out. There's a lot of good stuff. And Terere also brought a lot of stuff that wasn't really, in jiu-jitsu at the time, but that's like another topic altogether. But he added a lot of things, as far as like passing and top game. Um, that side of the jiu-jitsu world, right? Because you have the bottom side, the guard side. He added a lot to the top game, right? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Both players are legend. If you didn't know about Terere, check him out. Um, and I look for your comments, and please like my video, support my channel using the links below. This is a new channel. So still working out the kinks, but bear with me. We talk about boxing here, MMA, and also jiu-jitsu and judo. I'm a full disclosure, I'm not a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm a blue belt, two-stripe blue belt, but I love jiu-jitsu. I love looking at matches and analyzing them. Hey, I might come back 4 years later, and maybe I'll be like brown belt or something like that, and I'll be looking at the matches totally different, and I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed all this stuff. But right now, this is the level of understanding I have, and it's definitely done out of love for the sport and for the art in general. So again, please like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and all of that stuff like that. That way, my videos can be seen on YouTube, right? It'll move the videos along and the YouTube algorithm. All right, guys. So any suggestions, please leave me a comment below. Let me know you're out there. And if you do practice jujitsu, like let me know. Like put your belt out there or your name or whatever, where you from, or what matches you like, you like the best, or what jujitsu players you like the best. All right. So I'll talk to you guys later.